Hello everybody, Rockin Rich Lynch here. This is the Rockin Rich Lynch webcast for today. And we're excited. We have a big guest coming up in a little while. Probably about 5 minutes. I'm going to try to reach out and make a phone call. I'm Rockin Rich Lynch. I'm the front man and founder of the Rich Lynch Band. And also, if you are a band or artist out there in the world, around the planet, on this great big world wide web that we're currently on, I have a couple of websites that I'd like you to check out. They're soundpress.net, and musiccitynashville.net, musiccitynashville.net. Those are two websites. If you go over there and click on the music promo button, I can get you some great music promotion on the website for basically a very affordable price. And all I need you to do is get in touch with me and we can discuss that. It's a lot of fun. It's interactive. We're doing some great things with it. Check, just raised up the volume just a little bit right there. Rockin Rich Lynch, this is the Rockin Rich Lynch webcast. Here in Nashville, Tennessee, always a lot going on. If you go over to musiccitynashville.net and soundpress.net, we are continually putting up new CD reviews, new concert reviews, new news and information. If you go to musiccitynashville.net, please like our Facebook page, join our Twitter account, especially if you're from Nashville, because we can use your news and information and promote that to the world via our social media. So much stuff going on, so much product coming through the door. But today we're going to have a conversation with a certified rock star, getting back into the rock star interviews here on the website. Excited about that. Just please excuse me for 1 minute. I'm going to try to bring up my video over here. Coming through the door. But today we're going to have a conversation with a certified rock star, getting back into the rock star interviews here on the website. All right, so sorry about that. Rich Lynch Band, Rockin Rich Lynch webcast, coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee. We are excited. So here's what I need to do. I'm going to try to get our rock star on the phone. Stone Age Studios here in Nashville, Tennessee. That's because the webcast is a little rickety, a little old school in the way we're doing it. Hello, Rich Lynch here. How are you? Nothing. I'm going to bring you up. The audio is a little more challenged than it used to be, but it's worked every time. So I'm going to put you on speakerphone. Then you'll hear me. You should have no problem. We'll check that out. But let me put you on speakerphone right now.
All right.
Okay, we seem to have... Hold on. Can you hear me, sir? I will. We have landed. The Eagle has landed here on the Rockin Rich Lynch webcast. That just means we have touched base with our certified rock star.
I'm here. I'm ready to go.
Okay, and his name is Richie Kotzen. And Richie, I have had the pleasure of speaking to you once before, seeing you in concert many times. Thank you for taking a few minutes to be with us today. Really appreciate it. RichieKotzen.com is the website. How are you today?
I'm very good. Hanging out here in Turks and Caicos down in the Caribbean and having a nice little vacation, which I never really do. So this has been great, and happy that you called me, that we can have a little chat.
Well, aren't you just having the life? It's here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's supposed to be warm. It's actually snowing today, so.
It's snowing in Nashville, really?
Yeah, it's not sticking, but it's cold. My New Jersey blood can't take that. So let me back this up. Richie Kotzen is on the phone, an amazing singer-songwriter, band leader for the band Winery Dogs, frontman out there, but so known for his solo work. Richie, let me start off here by saying most men who have a midlife crisis get themselves a hot wife or a fast car. Since you already have both of those, you've decided to give us a little album project to mark the occasion.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you for complimenting my lovely wife. I had this idea. It really came to me while I was on my last tour. I was in Europe, and we were doing the festivals. I was with my band. And at that point, I had finished what would have been a normal length record. And I started kind of going through all these ideas that I had that were in various forms of completion. And I started writing them down, saying, oh, wow, that's a cool idea. Why didn't I ever finish that? And then I'd find another song that was almost finished. I'm like, oh, all I got to do is re-sing this. That'd be great. And before I knew it, I had a long list of material to work on. And I thought at that point, wow, if I could finish, and there were way more than, 50. I'm talking a lot of stuff. And I thought, if I could get to 50, and I'm already, 12, 13 songs in, if I could get to 50, wouldn't it be something if I released a brand new record with all of my songs that no one's ever heard, so for all intent and purpose, new songs, original material, if I could have 50 songs on my 50th birthday, that would be kind of crazy. So it really was just kind of a gag, like, let me see if I can do it. So I didn't tell anyone, I didn't announce it. The only person I really told was my tour manager, and he thought it was a great idea. And so I came home and I just started working. Now the cool thing that happened that got me through this was that as I would finish an idea, suddenly I'd have a new idea for a new song. So I can remember like finishing When God Made You, for example, which was an idea that was lying around for quite some time. And then no sooner is that done, I go upstairs, I pick up the acoustic, and I'm playing the riffs to Innocuous, and I run downstairs and I record that. So it was this really kind of crazy snowball that happened. And then somewhere along the line, I got to like 32 songs, and I thought, okay, I got this, I'm going to make it. And so I think I put something on my Instagram, like a little teaser indicating what I was up to. And now here we are. I did it. It's all done, and I never got taken away to the loony bin.
Yeah, it's an amazing project. Stylistically, there's a lot there. We have all three records. Honestly, I haven't heard all of it. That's pretty much a lie. I've actually have heard it all. It's just what I normally like to try to do with artist reviews and interviews is try to ingest everything multiple times, and with the volume of songs on this project, it's kind of hard to do. But certainly the first album was the first one that came through, and because the 50 for 50 is broken into 3 CDs traditionally, you can also get it digitally. We are speaking to Richie Kotzen, who is now 50 years old. Richie, did you hit the birthday mark?
I'm 50, yeah, February 3rd. My my wife and a couple of my best friends planned a surprise birthday party for me in Las Vegas, and yes, I was indeed surprised. It was really great, and I walked. My friend got this killer suite at the Hard Rock, and I walked in, and everyone's wearing like eyes wide shut, Venetian carnival masks, and it was up to me to unveil and see who was there, and there were people there from way back in my childhood from Pennsylvania and new friends as well. It was really a great 50th birthday.
Yeah, well, I want to bring that up later on a little bit in the conversation, but a couple of those guys took a buggy all the way across the country. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm gonna stop at that. Hey, Richie, the last time we spoke, I learned that a fatal mistake is to take a Richie Kotzen song way too literally, because presumably you're in a good space right now in life and love. Things are good. You're doing well. But if you listen to some of those songs, especially on that first disc, songs like I have Dogs, More Than This, and Devil's Hand, that might indicate otherwise. Does that come down to the fact that ideas and songs based around the idea of happiness don't necessarily lend themselves to the best art?
Oh, that's an interesting thing. Someone said to me, in a conversation, another person that wrote songs, they asked me, does it seem easier to write off of negative energy? In a weird way, when you have these kind of moments where you feel kind of down, I think it's easy to kind of put that out and get it out of your system by writing a song or whatever kind of art you're into, painting or whatever. Because oftentimes when you feel great and you're super happy, you're kind of immersed in that feeling. So maybe you wouldn't bother to write something. So maybe it's true. Maybe it is easier to write off of a negative energy. That being said, there are positive songs on the record, so it's kind of hard to analyze. But I guess if you were to listen to only Devil's Hand and Dogs, you might, send me the suicide hotline out of concern for my well-being. But that's not necessarily, let me put it this way. Quentin Tarantino wrote a movie about vampires, but he's not really a vampire. So.
Well, that's true. It's just people do. Oftentimes, a lot of artists will be autobiographical, not all the time, but then fans will try to find some insight into what's going on, with their rockers, personal lives.
Let me interject this. It is coming from somewhere. So many of the things I write are based in some form of reality, be it the past experience. But then there's also, as an artist and as a writer, you have the ability to imagine a scenario. And it's much like in writing a novel or writing a screenplay, that, your imagination is big. And so you're able to imagine a scenario, and it may not have happened exactly that way to you personally, but certainly it's something that you can imagine or observe or know someone that went through, and you can write about it. That's part of being a writer, is that aspect of it. That's why I use the analogy about the vampire or many other films. You don't have to be literally a gangster to write a movie about gangsters and have it be compelling.
Right. It's the difference between fiction and nonfiction. I have one related note about that. Springsteen put out a pair of albums in the late '80s, or actually maybe it was the early '90s. And he had Domestic Bliss. He was a rock star. He had tons of money in the bank, and fans did not like those two records. And Jackson Browne put out a what they perceived as a comeback album, which was on the heels of his breakup with Daryl Hannah, and the just angst and the tragedy of his life resulted in one of the greatest records from that man over time, that has all the Neil Young fans now waiting for him to break up with Daryl Hannah so we can get another good record from Neil.
That's great. Oh my God.
So.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So 50 for 50, a world tour is beginning in June. You got 3 dates at the Iridium in New York City. You're going to be doing some dates in the States, and you're going to be heading to Europe. Have you considered how many of the tracks you're going to try to represent in a live setting from this new 50 for 50 project?
I really haven't gotten my head around that yet. I've kind of been in the whirlwind of the record coming out and the birthday, and then I went on the Monsters of Rock cruise and performed, and now I'm down here in Turks, and I said it's a vacation, but there's a little bit of songwriting and recording happening down here as well right now. So, once I'm home next week, I'm going to start thinking about how I want to approach the performance element of the upcoming tour. We have dates announced in the States, and that's a small portion of what we're working on. So the idea is to start in the Northeast, work our way down and across the country. The other dates that are up are the European dates. They're up and ready to go. So there's going to be plenty of touring. I like it when artists play songs that I know and love and relate to, and then bring in a few of the new songs rather than going to the show and only hearing the new songs. So I can picture listening and going through, and songs that I think will translate well with the current lineup, I think would be songs like Dog, The Knives, Devil's Hand. I definitely anticipate doing those and a few others. And maybe start off with 5 or 6 at the most from the new record, and then see where it goes from there.
Maybe you could do like one pay-per-view at the end of this where you do 50 for 50 straight through in a live setting.
I get that sounds like to me that sounds like a nightmare. That means I got to go back and learn all this shit and figure out what the hell I did. But it is a good idea. And once another person said I should do a tour and play all 50 states, there's all kinds of great ideas. But I think I'm just happy that I was able to release the record. And the only criteria that I have when I make music is, do I like the song? Does that resonate with me? Does it represent a portion, a part of my personality? And then if the answer is yes, then it gets heard by the public. So that's really my only filter right there.
Hey, Richie, I got to ask Gene Simmons a similar question about a year and a half ago to this. Now, I've been in Nashville for going on 5 years now, and I've come from the classic rock school, singer-songwriter. Those are my main favorites. I've always, had a heart for country, but I wasn't a huge country music fan. But being in Nashville, you can't help but see how the industry cranks out new stars and how a lot of these stars become the biggest deal on the face of the planet, selling out stadiums regularly. Stadium shows are the arena show for the country artist that seems to know what they're doing. Now, I know that you're no stranger to Nashville because I saw you once with the Winery Dogs here and also solo at the City Winery. Have you ever contemplated or considered what a Richie Kotzen country project might look or sound like?
Yeah, it'd probably be a disaster.
Don't say that. You can pull it off. A lot of the guys, like a Keith Urban and a Brad Paisley, they bring some pretty good guitar chops to the whole element of what they do.
That's not what I mean. Like my impression of that scene is that, I don't know, but I thought that like to be a country artist is like kind of like a lifestyle. It's kind of like, I don't know. I think the audience is very in tune with who these people are. I don't know that they would accept me, being like, if you listen to songs like Nickel Hustler and Dirty Tricks and When God Made You, I think I'm a little too funky to fit in the country world. Although, hey, if they want me, I'll come play. I don't mind. But I love those guys you mentioned, and ridiculously amazing guitar players, by the way. And the guitar in that music is just sensational. But for me, I don't. My music is I don't know. I don't know that it fits into any real genre. Sometimes it's just, it is what it is. It's Richie Kotzen music, but
yeah, it wouldn't be unprecedented because Darius Rucker did, made the switch, and Joe Bonamassa is mining at the blues scene, and he's actually, kind of put out some forays that he wouldn't mind just doing one country project just to throw the hat in the ring and see what the hell happens. But Richie Kotzen is on the phone with us right now. RichieKotzen.com. from the Turks and Caicos Islands right now, having a great time, I imagine. Just a couple more, Richie, because I know that you got to go and you want to get out there on the beach and in the sunshine. I heard a few tracks on the album, on the multi-album project here, 50 for 50, that renew your standing in the Guitar God Club, putting you right up there with all the greats of our time. Do you have a standard regimen of organized practice to help keep your chops up?
No, I really don't. I go long periods of time without even picking the instrument up, and then I get into modes where I'm playing a lot, and really it's gotten to the point where, I don't really mess with it unless I'm writing or recording, and then I'll grab the guitar, and sometimes I'll have an idea and I don't know how to play it, so that becomes practice. But I know a lot of guys will sit and just kind of practice. I don't really do that. I spent years and years and years practicing when I was a kid, but when I started making music, my focus changed and it moved away from the instrument just itself, and it moved on to what am I going to do with the instrument? So in a weird way, if I was a contractor, the guitar almost is like a hammer to me, and my voice would be like a drill, and I don't want to make a ridiculous analogy because I can see I'm about to, but it's more like that kind of a thing. I still love the guitar, and I enjoy playing and everything, but it's really a tool for me to write with and to actually create with, because it's if I don't have a song, I don't have nothing. I don't really love playing covers, and so my focus is kind of making music. That's what I love to do, and the guitar is part of it. But I don't really practice unless I'm writing and then there's something that I don't know how to finger it or play it, or I can't execute it. So then I'll have to sit there and figure it out.
Yeah, that is interesting, because I've spoken to one of the guitarists down here is known, internationally as one of the, greatest guitar players ever on the planet, going back into the 60s. He said, playing guitar is not like riding a bicycle. Like, if you don't do it, if you don't keep up at it, you'll forget some things over time.
I guess. I don't know that I'm that into it. I love the instrument. I love playing. It's interesting. It's like an expression tool. Sometimes I get on stage and I play, and I don't know what I'm going to play or what's going to happen, and then something happens where it works, and I get a response from the audience, and I think it's a bit of I'm not a real religious guy, but there's definitely a spiritual element to it. But everybody's different, to each his own. But I love the instrument, but I find myself in my later years kind of reaching for it when I have an idea for a song, and not so much worrying about keeping my chops up, because it's not in my wheelhouse, so I don't think about it.
One from your biggest fan and a dear friend of mine, a girl named Patty, who I'm sure you know, she wants to know, is July 14th on the new collection a tribute to David Z?
It's not. The song has been on my hard drive for many, many, many years. I never released it until I was doing the 50 for 50, and it's called July 14th because way back when I recorded it, that was the day I made the session file in Pro Tools, and I just named it that. I have all these names in my hard drive of songs, and I don't know what is what until I open it and listen to it, because the names are all wacky, and a lot of the names are just dates, because that's when I had the idea.
Yeah, that's also Bastille Day, and what's interesting, though, about the song is that the bass lines in there are kind of wacky, and you could kind of imagine David playing some of that stuff, so just a happy coincidence, or a sad coincidence.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. What a sad situation. That's just a whole other topic. It's terrible.
Hey, what impact did growing up in Pennsylvania Dutch have on you? Did you know many Amish growing up, and they probably only played acoustic guitars? Nobody was plugging in their group.
Right. No electricity. Is that it too? I grew up I was born in Reading, Pennsylvania, which is very close to the Amish community. But really, growing up, it was Philadelphia radio that I was exposed to, which kind of defined, a lot of my influence. Darrell Hall was his family house was about 8 miles down the road from mine, and although I didn't know him back then, he was a massive influence, and it's probably where I get a lot of my more soulful R&B influences from growing up, there in Pennsylvania. But I never dated an Amish girl.
Huh. All right, just a couple quick shots, and I'm going to get back to your vacation. Best concert that you ever saw that you weren't involved in?
Well, that would probably be my first concert. Was at the Valley Forge Music Fair, just outside of Philadelphia. It was a round stage, and the stage rotated the entire time, and Stevie Wonder was the act. And then about a month later, I saw George Benson in the same venue. So those would be my top two.
Right, those are starting out. You're raising the bar pretty high on those two, and the influences rubbed off a bit on you. A favorite movie, Richie Kotzen?
Oh, Joker.
Favorite book?
The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene.
All right, and how about sports? Are you a sports fan?
Philadelphia Eagles.
Excellent. Hey, Richie, have a great vacation, and good luck prepping for that tour. Thanks for being on the show. Great stuff. We love 50 for 50, RichieKotzen.com.
Thank you very much. Bye.
And that's how we do it on the Rich Lynch Webcast. Let me just check in over here to look at the time. About 21 minutes with Richie Kotzen, which is what we were scheduled for. So, yeah, the way I say this, and the way I have been saying this, because this is my 4th week in a row that I put this show back together after doing a podcast and in a different format. I had cans on the soundboard. I wasn't on film in the past. And what I tell people is I would prep for those shows about 8 hours for a 15 to 20 minute interview. And I would do a lot of them, so time would just dissipate. Whoops. I would really do a lot of those shows, and 8 hours for a 20-minute interview was quite an investment in time. Now, many people told me at the time that I did really great interviews, that they were some of the best interviews I ever did with an individual artist. But that's mainly because of the time I invested in up front. So doing a little differently now, I probably prepped about a half an hour for that 20-minute interview, so I'm kind of gaining back 7.5 hours, so it's all good. A lot going on. The show is going to continue. We're booking more amazing guests. They're starting to come through as time goes on. Being that it's the Rockin Rich Lynch Webcast, I'm going to use the program to play some of the tracks I've recorded and released over at richlynchband.com. You can find me at Reverb Nation and Bandcamp also. So I'm going to play some of my own songs. We're going to have more guests on in the future. But again, if you're a band or artist and you want some promotion, reach out to us at soundpress.net, musiccitynashville.net. Richie Kotzen hails from Reading, Pennsylvania, as he said. In and around the Amish country, we found from him that he did not really know too many Amish people growing up. And, that's understandable. They pretty much keep to themselves. But this is a song I started writing about 5 years ago. It's fairly personal. Now, when I was young, I actually did go to Amish country quite a bit. Hung out at some of their farmers markets. I told somebody once the I remember early on, like as an 11-year-old, the hottest girl I'd ever seen in my life was like an 11-year-old girl who was a farmer's daughter, selling the goods out there at a farmer's market, and couldn't get her phone number because I don't think she had a phone. So that was that was one of the first of many cases of unrequited love in my life. But I wrote a song called Amish Country about 5 years ago. It kind of talks about what's going on. Not released yet. I'm going to work on recording this one next here. I have about 3 songs ready to go in Nashville to record. I need to find a producer. So if you're out there and you want to work with me, just get in touch with me through the websites. Thank you, Richie Kotzett, for being on the show. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. We'll be back next week. Every show is going to be a little different. But there's a lot of new articles on the websites, musiccitynashville.net, soundpress.net. A lot of CDs are coming in. I actually have to shut down the show early today and go start reviewing some of these CDs because the product just backs up. It's not easy being me. Well, it's unseemly and sundry, 'cause I don't ride no buggy, but the road's gotten bumpy. How come this town feels like Amish country? How come this town feels like Amish country? Oh yeah. Well, there's no talk, no one's making any sound. Hear the hush of whispers going round and round. Brother and sisters, they're all out of touch, stuck in their old ways, like the Pennsylvania Dutch. Well, it's unseemly and sundry, 'cause I don't ride no buggy, but the road's gotten bumpy. How come this town feels like Amish country? How come this town feels like Amish country? Oh yeah. If you're not toiling in the field, well, you're slaving in the store, just a cog in the wheel, turned by the man you're working for. No matter how you try, this family's hard to please. There's no cuddle in the way, never keep the brother cheese. Unseemly and sundry, 'cause I don't ride no buggy, and the road's gotten bumpy. How come this town feels like Amish country? How come this town feels like Amish country? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sure tell the tale, and you spin a mean yarn. You're tearing down the truth, I never seen you build a barn. Oh yeah. Well, that's unseemly and sundry, 'cause I don't ride no buggy, and this road's gotten bumpy. How come this town feels like Amish country? How come this town feels like Amish country? Oh yeah. That is it. That's Amish country. Really, I've only played this one about 4 times, so it's going to get better. It's a little rough. The lyrics are all pretty much finished. And I'm happy with it. Another song I'm happy with. So more to come, more to come, more to come. Tune in next week. On the YouTube page, hit the subscribe button. That way you'll be notified of new shows coming down the road. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening to the Rockin Rich Lynch webcast. I'll see you next time. Thank you, Richie Kotzen. Go out and pick up his record. It's amazing.